Let me tell you something most people run from. Happiness is a discipline. It's not an accident. It's not luck. It's not tied to your bank account, the weather, or how people treat you. Happiness is a choice, a battle you fight for every single day, especially when life turns its back on you, especially when you're in the storm. The world won't hand you joy on a silver platter. You must get up and take it. You must command your mind to align with strength, not weakness. And that takes work. Every day when your feet hit the ground, you face a decision. Will you control your attitude or let your circumstances control it for you? That question determines everything. When life is hard, the lazy mind looks for pity. The powerful mind looks for purpose. You can't afford to let pain define your reality. Pain is a signal, not a sentence. The moment you allow outside chaos to dictate your inner world, you lose your power. And when you lose your power, you lose your peace. You think strength is built in comfort. No, strength is forged in the fires of difficulty. Discipline your thoughts when you're tired. Focus your spirit when you're hurting. Smile when it feels unnatural. That smile is not fake, it's fuel. Push yourself to smile, not because life is easy, but because you're stronger than what you're going through. If you wait for life to get better before you decide to be happy, you'll be waiting forever. Stop waiting, start becoming. There will be days you feel broken, days you want to disappear, days where joy feels like a foreign language. But listen, those are the exact days that define you. That's when you either dig deeper or give up. You want peace. Build it brick by brick in the dark. You want joy. Create it when the world says you shouldn't have it. That's power. That's resilience. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. You don't need permission to be happy. You don't need everything to be perfect. What you need is standards. High mental standards, high emotional standards. No matter what comes, you rise. Not because life is fair, but because you've trained your mind to rise anyway. That's what warriors do. That's what leaders do. That's what you were meant to do. The moment you let someone else's actions determine your joy, you hand them the keys to your soul. Take them back. You control what lives in your head. You control what runs through your heart. Stop feeding your pain. Start feeding your vision. Stop repeating the story of what hurt you. Start writing the story of how you overcame. Talk like someone with power. Think like someone with purpose. Walk like someone who knows happiness is an act of will, not wish. Every morning, repeat this. Today I choose strength. Today I choose joy. Today I rise no matter what. Say it until your spirit obeys it. Say it until your attitude is unbreakable. There's no time to be soft. The world is heavy, but you are heavier. You are forged in the fire for this very moment. It's your job to remind yourself daily, life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Happiness isn't a prize, it's a product of your mindset produced by effort, discipline, and vision. If you do it every day, especially when it's hardest, especially when no one's clapping, especially when you're hurting, you'll wake up one day and realize happiness is not something you chased, it's something you became. Happiness is not found, it is built. It is not a treasure you stumble upon while wandering aimlessly through life. It is not a magical emotion that appears when the conditions are perfect, when the sun shines and people praise you. It is not given by others nor granted by fate. Happiness is forged brick by brick, step by step, thought by thought. It is the result of inner construction, not outer coincidence. The moment you wait to feel good before you act right, you've already lost. Because happiness is not the reward for action. It is the result of daily discipline. It is earned in silence, in struggle, in solitude. And that's what most people refuse to accept. People wait for better days, but the strongest minds create better days. While the average man looks at circumstances, the uncommon man shapes his response. You don't control what happens around you, but you damn well control how you interpret it. And that interpretation is the foundation of your emotional life. You want to feel peace, then think peace. You want to feel alive, then act with purpose. No one is going to feel it for you. No one is going to carry your mindset on their back. You either build yourself or break yourself. There is no middle ground. Every single morning you wake up, life hands you a choice. Stay where you are or rise. Give in or grow. Wait for happiness or create it with blood and belief. The truth is, happiness requires effort. Not once, not occasionally, every single day. You must fight for joy, you must train for peace. Because when the world pushes you down, your default reaction will either destroy you or drive you. And that default is built by repeated focus. You either train your mind to push through or you train your mind to fold. When life gets hard, and it will, your habits will speak louder than your motivation. And your habits are shaped by what you practice, not what you wish for. Too many people wait to feel good before they do good. That's weakness disguised as logic. You don't wait to be inspired, you move with discipline, and inspiration follows you. Happiness is not something you chase, it is something you generate. It flows from within, not from outside. If you wait for someone else to change so you can feel free, you've handed over your power. You have one shot at this day. And no matter what happened yesterday, no matter who hurt you, who betrayed you, who ignored you, it's your mind, your mood, your life. You want happiness, build it. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you don't see results, that's the test. That's the moment your future is being carved. When you want to shut down but you show up anyway. When you feel empty inside, but you speak power into your soul anyway. That's not fake, that's courage. That's strength. That's the real you showing up. The people who win in life don't win because they had it easy. They win because they decided every day to push forward. They decided every day to align their emotions with their mission, not their misery. You don't get to opt out of this. If you want happiness, then demand it from yourself. Set the tone, set the standard. Act with courage, smile with intention, think with clarity. And don't wait for people to understand it. This is not about being understood. This is about becoming unshakable. Hard times are the gym for the soul. You either lift or you collapse. You either grow through pain or shrink from it. And in that pain is where the seeds of true joy are planted. The kind of joy that can't be stolen by disappointment. The kind of joy that isn't shaken by failure. The kind of joy that belongs to you because you earned it. You showed up when you had every excuse not to. You stood tall when life tried to make you small. You kept your vision clear when the fog rolled in. That's how builders think and that's how winners live. When the day begins, speak with strength. Today I lead my mind, not I hope I feel better. Not I'll wait and see how it goes. No, you lead. You take charge. You set the emotional thermostat. If life turns cold, you heat up from within. If people go silent, you speak to yourself louder. If the day feels heavy, you carry it with posture and pride. That's how you keep momentum. That's how you keep power. You don't get distracted by drama. You don't retreat because of delay. You keep building even when nothing around you seems to be working. You keep building. Even when your body is tired and your spirit is low, you keep building because you're not here to survive the day. You're here to conquer it. And not with ego, but with energy, with discipline, with gratitude. You're not here to be like everyone else. You're here to prove what happens when a human being chooses joy on purpose over and over again. Not because life is easy, but because life is short and you refuse to waste it living weak. And when others see you smile through struggle, they'll wonder what your secret is. But you'll know there's no secret, just daily, brutal, beautiful self-leadership. Just refusing to let circumstances decide your spirit. Just choosing every single time to push yourself into the strongest, highest version of you. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's right. Because happiness is not found, it is built. And you are the builder. You must pain vs power. Turn your hurt into hunger. Command your emotional state daily. Never beg for it. You were not born to be at the mercy of your moods or held hostage by the chaos around you. You were built with power, not to be ruled by feelings, but to rule them. The moment you beg for peace, for clarity, for motivation, you've already placed your strength in the hands of something else. And when your strength belongs to something outside of you, it can be taken from you at any moment. That is not freedom. That is emotional slavery. And most people live that way without even knowing it. Their emotions decide their actions. Their fears shape their words. And their feelings dictate their future. But not you, not anymore. You don't get to say, I don't feel like it. When your mission is on the line, you don't get to shrink when pressure shows up. Because pressure is not your enemy. It's your proving ground. You must rise no matter what you feel. You must train yourself to lead from the front, even if your knees are shaking. That is real control. That is what separates the weak from the unshakable. When your emotions are running wild, it is your duty to stop the chaos. Take a breath and remind yourself, I am in charge here. Not my pain, not my fear, not my doubt. Me, my decisions, my standards, my thoughts, my posture, my focus. I choose what lives in my mind, and I will not rent space to weakness. Every morning when you wake up, There is a war taking place before your feet hit the ground. Your mind wants to slip into comfort. Your feelings want to guide you back to the past, and your doubt wants to whisper that you aren't enough. But you are not a victim of those thoughts. You are the captain. You either take control or get controlled. You either build the day or the day breaks you. So don't wait for motivation to show up. Don't ask for peace. Don't hope for strength. Command it. Stand in the mirror and speak it into existence. Not once, not for a few days, but every day until your inner world obeys you. Your emotions must not be dictators. They must be trained soldiers. They take orders from your mind, not the other way around. If your emotions are leading, you will break when life gets heavy. But if your mindset is leading, nothing can bend you. People will test you. Delays will test you. Loss will test you. But you will remain centered because your emotions do not make your decisions. You do. You don't need to feel good to act right. You need to act right to feel good. And that is the secret the average man never learns. He keeps waiting. Waiting for a good day. Waiting to feel inspired. Waiting for someone to lift him. And while he waits, his life stays still. But the one who commands his emotions, he moves mountains. You want power. Control your state. You want peace. Guard your mind. You want joy planted in discipline. Stop blaming the world for how you feel. Stop giving people permission to wreck your peace. Take back your authority. Remind yourself that no matter what happens today, you decide what it means. That power is not given, it is claimed. And if you claim it, truly claim it, no external storm can shake you. You will bend, but you won't break. You will bleed, but you won't quit. Because every time life tries to drag you into weakness, you rise with conviction and say, I answer to something higher than how I feel. I answer to who I choose to be. You must build the discipline of emotional strength like a soldier sharpens his blade. You must wake up each morning before the world can invade your mind and lock in your direction. Your attitude is not automatic. It is installed. It is programmed. It is trained. And training means repetition. Repetition when it's boring. Repetition when it's painful. Repetition when you want to walk away. That's how warriors are formed. That's how minds become unbreakable. And if you want to rise above your feelings, you must work harder than your emotions do. There will be moments when nothing feels right, when fear screams and doubt whispers. That's when you speak louder. That's when you lean in. That's when you don't just survive, you command. Command your presence. Command your thoughts. Command your breath, not in arrogance, but in clarity. Because the moment you surrender your emotions to luck or outside approval, you weaken your spirit. And weak spirits don't lead, they follow, they crumble. But you are here to lead your life. You are here to become the kind of person who walks into fire with a calm mind and a strong heart. The storms of life will keep coming, you can't stop the wind, but you can control your sail, and that sail is your state. Command it, don't just react to life, respond with purpose, respond with focus, respond with force, because you didn't come this far to be emotionally unstable. You didn't endure everything you've endured just to be led by fleeting feelings. You came here to master yourself, and that begins the moment you stop begging to feel better and decide to lead yourself better. Push past comfort, rise through resistance, and never again let your emotions pull you away from the man or woman you were born to become. You are not here to cope. You are here to command. Adversity is life's invitation to grow. Respond with joy, not complaint. Every struggle, every setback, every loss that shakes your world is not here to break you. It is here to build you. It is not a curse, but a call. A call to rise, to evolve, to sharpen the edges of your spirit against the grindstone of difficulty. Most people waste their pain. They complain, they blame, they retreat. They ask, why me, as if life has singled them out for suffering. But what they don't see is that adversity is not personal. It is purposeful. It comes for everyone. But only a few will use it. Only a few will see it as the furnace that forges greatness. And you're reading this. You are one of those few. You are not here to fold. You are here to respond with joy. That joy is not fake. It is not forced. It is not some empty grin pasted over a broken heart. It is a choice, a weapon. It is the decision to stand in the storm with your head high and your purpose intact. It is the refusal to let difficulty drag your energy into darkness. You don't need to enjoy the pain, but you must embrace the growth. You must meet adversity with a mindset so strong that it shocks the world. While others crumble, you stand tall. While others curse the test, you say, good, now I rise. Complaints are easy. Joy is discipline. Anyone can whine, anyone can point fingers, explain why life is unfair, why things should be easier. But those who achieve real transformation don't have time for pity. They don't have space in their minds for weakness. They use every hit as a spark. They turn pain into focus. They turn loss into fuel. They turn delays into deeper drive. And that transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens through daily decisions. The decision to respond with joy is not soft. It is not naive. It is one of the hardest choices you will ever make, but it is also the most powerful. Adversity will strip away the surface. It will reveal what you're really made of. It will show you the truth, not of the world, but of yourself. And what you find in that reflection is up to you. Will you find a person crushed by circumstances? Or will you find a warrior rising from the ashes, eyes clear, fists clenched, heart unshaken? Because that's what you are. If you choose to be, every challenge is asking you one question: how strong are you willing to become? And every time you answer with joy, with action, with discipline, you become someone that difficulty cannot defeat. There's a kind of person adversity cannot handle. A person who doesn't flinch, who doesn't stall, who doesn't whine, moan, or wait for someone else to fix it. A person who faces the fire and walks through it. That person lives inside of you. But it will only emerge if you stop using your voice to complain and start using it to command. Command your energy, command your thoughts, command your response. You may not control the pain, but you always control the perspective. Start seeing adversity as your training ground, your opportunity to sharpen mental muscles. The heavier the weight, the stronger you become. The deeper the mind control, how to dominate your emotional state whole, the greater the rise. Every hard day is shaping your future victories. Every delay is teaching you patience. Every loss is building humility. Every betrayal is sculpting wisdom. These are not just wounds, they are weapons in disguise. The world will never stop testing you. But that's not a problem, that's the point. Life will keep handing you storms until you learn how to become the calm inside them. You must stop seeing problems as interruptions. They are the path. The obstacle is not in the way, it is the way. But only if you see it that way. Only if you stop resisting what life is teaching and start leaning into it. This is not about staying positive for the sake of appearances. It's about developing a mind so powerful that you respond with purpose to anything life throws at you. That kind of strength is rare. That kind of mindset doesn't complain. It commands, it creates. It constructs the future brick by unbreakable brick. You are being molded for something greater, and molding always comes with pressure. But pressure is a privilege. Diamonds are not made in comfort. Leaders are not made in ease. Purpose is not born in applause. It is born in adversity. You are being prepared, and the pain you feel is not a sign to stop. It's a signal to build. So respond with joy. Not because the process is pleasant, but because the result is worth it. Respond with joy, because that's how champions respond. That's how warriors rise. That's how legends are made. When adversity shows up again, and it will smile at it, not because you love the fight, but because you love who you become through it. That smile is not weakness. It is your strength revealed. It is your silent declaration that nothing outside you can ever defeat what lives inside you. This is your time. This is your moment. You've complained long enough. You've questioned long enough. Now respond. And not with fear, not with retreat. Respond with power. Respond with clarity. Respond with joy, because adversity is not here to end you. It is here to elevate you. Discipline creates happiness, especially when it's hardest. When the world feels like it's falling apart, when you have every reason to quit, when the excuses sound louder than your goals. That is when discipline becomes the doorway to peace. Not motivation, not inspiration, not luck, discipline. Because discipline doesn't rely on feelings. It doesn't care whether you're tired, broken, or uninspired. It moves anyway. And that movement builds momentum. That momentum builds confidence. And confidence grounded in consistent action builds happiness that isn't shaken by circumstance. In the middle of chaos, discipline gives you control. In the storm, discipline is your anchor. When your emotions scream to react, to hide, to surrender, discipline tells you to rise. It tells you to move. It tells you to keep showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people break under pressure not because they lack talent, but because they lack self-command. They wait to feel good, to act right, but the ones who win, the ones who live in joy, don't wait. They decide, they act on principle. They build systems that function even when their heart feels heavy, and that's where happiness begins. not in comfort but in consistency. You don't become strong by doing what's easy. You don't become joyful by avoiding discomfort. You become both by confronting the difficult with unshakable commitment. Discipline is choosing what's right over what's easy. It's saying no when the world says indulge. It's holding the line when the mind screams to quit. Every time you stay focused, stay honest, stay hungry, you carve a deeper sense of respect for yourself. And that respect breeds self-rust. That self-rust breeds happiness. Not the kind that fades when circumstances change, but the kind that stays with you in silence, in darkness, in difficulty. Happiness built on results is fragile. Happiness built on discipline is bulletproof, because results can vanish, people can disappoint you, the world can collapse. But your habits, your routine, your inner framework that stays and it carries you through. When others are consumed by doubt, you're busy executing. When others panic, you move with purpose because you've trained for this. You've conditioned your mind to obey principle, not impulse. You don't rely on motivation. You rely on muscle memory, and that's what discipline is. It is the emotional muscle memory of greatness. Discipline is doing the workout when no one watches. It's studying while others scroll. It's choosing water over comfort food. It's controlling your tongue when anger rises. It's waking up with intention, not by accident. These small acts don't always feel rewarding in the moment, but over time, they build a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. You begin to feel peace because you're no longer betraying yourself. You begin to feel joy because you're no longer out of alignment. That's real happiness, earned, not given. When life punches you in the face, discipline is what gets you back up. It's the hand you extend to yourself. It says, I know this hurts, but we move anyway. That kind of voice inside you is not born overnight. It is built through repetition, through daily choices, through saying yes to growth and no to weakness. Even when that weakness comes dressed as rest, as comfort, as harmless distraction, the greatest threat to your joy isn't pain, it's permission to stay average. The world will tell you to take it easy, to give yourself a break, to be softer. But that softness, when it becomes a pattern, turns into sorrow, because nothing kills joy faster than unfulfilled potential. Nothing eats you alive like knowing you could have been more but chose less. Discipline silences that regret before it starts. It builds you up when no one else will. It teaches you to rely on your actions, not your circumstances, for happiness. And that makes you unstoppable. You don't rise when everything is perfect. You rise because you decided that nothing will control your outcome. Not stress, not struggle, not failure. Discipline is your rebellion against chaos. It is your proof to the world that you will not be broken. It is the statement you make every day when you do the hard thing simply because it's the right thing. And when others watch, they'll think you're gifted, lucky, blessed. But you'll know the truth. You are disciplined, and that makes all the difference. In the face of fear, discipline gives you structure. When emotion clouds your mind, discipline cuts through like a blade. It gives you clarity. It gives you routine. It gives you a sense of stability when everything else is falling apart. And that stability brings happiness because you are no longer reacting to life. You are leading it. You are no longer controlled by the highs and lows. You are steady, grounded, strong because your habits are solid, because your choices are aligned, because your standards are high. You don't have to love discipline to be transformed by it. You just have to do it day after day, choice after choice, until one day you realize that the same habits that once felt heavy now feel like freedom, and that freedom becomes joy. Not a fleeting feeling, but a foundation that holds you up through anything. You earned it, you built it, and no one can take it from you. Discipline creates happiness, especially when it's hardest, because that's when it means the most. No external force has power over your internal choice. Nothing outside of you, no failure, no rejection, no criticism, no loss can dictate how you think, how you respond, or who you become unless you let it. The moment you surrender your mind to circumstance, you've given away the only true power you'll ever have, and that power is choice. Your ability to choose your focus, your thoughts, your beliefs, your next move, regardless of what's collapsing around you. That power is sacred. It is not for sale. It cannot be stolen. It can only be given up. And too many people give it up every single day without realizing. Rewire habits, discipline as a pathway to happiness, what they've lost. They let opinion shape their worth. They let defeat define their identity. They let the noise of the world drown out the voice of their own mind. And as a result, they walk through life reacting, not creating, living as slaves to situations instead of commanders of their destiny. But the truth is this: no one has the power to ruin your day unless you grant them access. No event has the power to ruin your life unless you believe it can. No hardship has the power to break you unless you agree to stay broken. The battle is never out there. It is always in here, in the thoughts you accept, in the meaning you assign, in the story you tell yourself about what just happened. Your inner world builds your outer world. Your inner narrative controls your outer results. And when you choose to master what happens inside, there is nothing outside that can shake you. Pain will still come, pressure will still rise, but you won't be moved by it because your roots go deeper than the surface. Your values run deeper than emotions. Your principles stand stronger than panic. That's what real power is. Not the ability to control the world, but the refusal to let the world control you. People will try to test your peace. Situations will attempt to steal your clarity. But in every moment you hold the authority. You are not your feelings. You are not your mistakes. You are not your environment. You are the observer of all of that. You are the one who gets to decide what to amplify, what to eliminate, and what to embody. That decision is yours every single day. And it must be made consciously. If you don't choose your state, your environment will choose it